Every great conversation begins between two thoughts.
Can I tell you something I've never actually said out loud before?
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes when things are going really well, I do something to mess it up. And I don't. I don't plan it. It's not like I sit there and think, okay, let me ruin this. But looking back, it always seems to happen at exactly the moment when everything is actually going right.
Right when you're closest to something good.
Exactly that. I'll just stop replying to someone, or pick a fight that didn't need to happen, or quietly stop showing up for something that was working. And then afterwards I sit there thinking, why did I do that? Why do I keep doing that?
What you're describing, it has a name. Psychologists call it self-sabotage. And what makes it so painful to talk about, is that it's one of the most common things humans do. And almost nobody admits it honestly.
Because it's embarrassing. Saying out loud that you are the thing standing in your own way?
Really embarrassing. And confusing. Because from the outside it just looks like bad decisions or bad luck. But from the inside it feels almost involuntary. Like watching yourself do something and not quite being able to stop.
Yes, that's it exactly. Like part of you just takes over. And the rest of you is watching, going, what are you doing? Stop. And it doesn't stop.
That description is actually closer to what's happening than most clinical explanations. Because self-sabotage isn't really a conscious choice. It runs mostly below awareness, driven by things the rational mind doesn't have full access to.
So it's not weakness, it's not stupidity, it's something else.
Something much deeper. At its core, self-sabotage is protection. Just like overthinking, just like fear of failure. The brain isn't trying to destroy you. It's trying to keep you safe. Just in a way that ends up doing the opposite.
But safe from what, though? If things are going well, what is there to be safe from?
That's the question that unlocks everything. And the answer is, it's not really about danger. It's about familiarity. The nervous system doesn't just want safety. It wants predictability. It wants to know what's coming next.
Even if what's coming next is painful.
Even then, a known pain feels less threatening than an unknown joy. Because the known thing, the nervous system has a map for it. It knows how to survive it. Something new and good and unfamiliar. That's uncharted territory. And uncharted territory registers as potential threat.
So even something genuinely wonderful can feel unsafe if it's new enough.
Especially something wonderful. Because the stakes are higher, more to lose. And the nervous system, it notices that. It sends signals. Pull back, slow down, go back to what you know.
And those signals show up as behaviors we don't understand in ourselves.
Behaviors like going quiet when things get close, starting arguments when things feel too peaceful, disappearing right when something was actually working.
So the person who grew up in chaos might sabotage a calm relationship because calm feels wrong.
Because calm is unfamiliar. And unfamiliar reads as unsafe at a nervous system level. It has nothing to do with how much they want the relationship. It has everything to do with what their system learned to expect from the world.
We sabotage the things we want most, because wanting them and actually getting them takes us somewhere we've never been before.
And the brain, even a brilliant brain, sometimes treats new good territory the same way it would treat actual danger. Get out, go back. You don't know this place.
That's heartbreaking, actually, when you put it that way.
It is. And there are specific patterns that show up again and again. Most people recognize themselves in at least 2 or 3 of them when they're being honest.
Tell me. I want to know which ones are mine.
First one, procrastination. But not all procrastination. This specific kind has a signature. It gets worse the more something matters to you. The project you genuinely care about. The thing that could actually change your life. The closer something is to your heart, the harder this particular kind of procrastination hits.
Because the stakes are highest. If you fail at something that doesn't matter, fine. But the thing that matters most, fail miss.
If that one goes wrong, the pain is a different level entirely. So the mind delays, and delays, and delays, until the opportunity closes and the decision gets made by default, by doing nothing.
And you tell yourself you just ran out of time. Not, I was too scared to start.
The story is always more comfortable than the truth underneath it. Second pattern, using things to numb. Food, screens, alcohol, being constantly busy. Not because you're a bad person, but because growth is uncomfortable. And uncomfortable feelings need somewhere to go. And if you haven't found healthy ways to process them, the nervous system finds unhealthy ones.
Out of necessity rather than choice.
Exactly. Not moral failure, necessity. Third one, relationship sabotage. This might be the most painful pattern to look at honestly. It's when someone finds something genuinely good, a loving relationship, a stable friendship, something real, and starts quietly dismantling it, testing it, picking fights that didn't need to happen, becoming unavailable for no clear reason.
Why would someone do that to something good?
Because if you grew up with love that disappeared, love that came with conditions, love that hurt, then stable love feels wrong, too quiet. The nervous system is waiting for it to fall apart, and sometimes it manufactures the fall just to end the waiting.
It destroys the thing rather than live in the anxiety of waiting for it to be destroyed.
Control over the ending feels less terrifying than helplessness in the face of it. It's a tragic kind of logic, but it is logic. From a nervous system that learned the hard way that good things don't last.
I've felt that. Not exactly that, but that waiting, that bracing, even when something is good.
Most people with difficult histories have. And just being able to name it, that moment of recognition, that's genuinely where change starts to become possible.
What's the fourth pattern?
Perfectionism. And this one hides well, because it looks like high standards from the outside. But as self-sabotage, it works like this. If I can never reach perfect, then I never have to fully commit, never finish, never actually put the thing out into the world where it can be seen and judged.
So perfectionism becomes a permanent delay, a way of never being done.
A finished imperfect thing can be criticized. An unfinished perfect thing in progress cannot. Perfectionism keeps you permanently in preparation, permanently safe from evaluation, permanently stuck.
Brilliant in design, devastating in outcome.
Like most defense mechanisms.
Yeah.
Okay, so patterns aside, how do you actually catch yourself doing this and choose something different?
That's the real question. Because recognizing the pattern in hindsight is one thing, catching it in the moment is completely different.
The first thing, and honestly the most important, is developing what therapists call the observing self. The part of your awareness that can watch your own behavior without immediately becoming it.
Like the cognitive diffusion we talked about in our first conversation. Watching the thought instead of becoming it.
Same principle applied to behavior now. When you notice yourself pulling away from something good instead of just doing it, you pause, just a beat, and you name it. This is self-sabotage. My nervous system is scared. This is protection, not truth.
And naming it creates enough distance to make a different choice.
Not always immediately, not perfectly, but the naming builds awareness over time. And awareness, that's the beginning of everything. You can't change what you can't see.
What else?
Understanding your specific triggers. Because self-sabotage doesn't just happen randomly. It shows up in response to particular internal states. For most people, it's one of four feelings. Feeling too happy, feeling too exposed, feeling too close to someone, or feeling too close to something they really want.
Too happy is actually a trigger for some people?
For people who grew up in environments where happiness was always followed by something bad, yes. The feeling of joy itself becomes a warning signal. Something bad is coming. Brace. Pull back. And they disrupt the happiness before life gets a chance to.
To stay in control of the story.
Always about control. Knowing your trigger means you can prepare. When you feel that particular internal state rising, you can say, okay, I know what my system wants to do right now, and I'm going to try something different this time.
Third practice?
expanding what trauma therapists call the window of tolerance. It's a concept from Dr. Dan Siegel's work. The window of tolerance is basically the emotional range within which you can function well. Too much distress, you shut down or act out. But, and this surprised me, too much positive intensity can do the same thing for some people.
So some people literally cannot hold feeling really good for very long without their system trying to regulate back down.
Right. And the way you expand the window isn't dramatic. It's gradual. You sit with the good feeling a little longer before you disrupt it. You stay in the peaceful moment a little longer before you pick the unnecessary fight. Each time you tolerate something good without sabotaging it, the window grows slightly.
Small doses of staying, until staying becomes possible for longer.
Until staying becomes natural. And it takes time. Real time. And often it takes support. A therapist. A trusted person. Someone who can reflect your patterns back to you with honesty and without judgment.
Because we usually can't see our own patterns clearly. We need someone outside of them.
The people who know us well often see our patterns long before we do. And being willing to actually hear that without shutting down, that's its own kind of courage.
The last practice?
Reparenting, which is probably the deepest work. Because if self-sabotage comes from early messages about what you deserve, whether you're worthy of good things, then healing means going back to those messages and slowly rewriting them.
Rewriting them how?
By becoming, gradually, imperfectly, the parent to yourself that you needed. Speaking to yourself with the kind of steadiness and warmth that builds genuine self-worth. Not empty affirmations, not toxic positivity. Just a consistent, honest internal voice that says, you are allowed to have good things. You are allowed to stay. You don't have to burn this down.
You are allowed to stay. That one hit differently.
Because so many people, at the deepest level, don't really believe that. They feel like guests in their own life, waiting to be asked to leave. So they leave first.
They leave first.
And the healing, the real slow, unglamorous healing, is learning to stay. To let the good thing be good. To let the love be love. Without needing to test it to death or burn it down because it feels too unfamiliar to hold.
Without burning it down because you don't quite believe you're allowed to keep it.
That's the work. And it's some of the most important work a person can do. Quietly. Unglamorously. Over a long time.
I think a lot of people listening right now are recognizing something in a way that probably feels a bit uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable recognition is the first honest moment of change. If something in this conversation made you feel seen, even in a way that stings a little, that feeling is worth sitting with. Don't rush past it.
Don't numb it. Don't sabotage the discomfort of being seen.
Let it be the beginning of something.
You are not broken because you do this. You are human, with a nervous system that learned to protect you in the only way it knew how. And that system, it can learn new ways, with patience, with awareness, and with a little more kindness toward yourself than you're probably used to giving.
The fact that you're here, listening, thinking about this, that means some part of you already wants something different. Trust that part. It knows something the fear doesn't.
Between thoughts, that quiet space, that's where it starts.
One honest moment at a time.
Thank you for trusting us with your time today. That genuinely means something to us.
If this conversation reached something real in you, share it with someone who needed to hear it. You probably already know who that is.
And our question before you go.
Which self-sabotage pattern do you recognize most in yourself? Procrastination, perfectionism, relationship sabotage, or something else entirely?
Tell us in the comments, honestly. This is a safe space.
Until next time.
Stay curious. Stay kind. And this time, let the good things stay.